Super, and I'm going to pop us on mute. Obviously, do come off at any point if you'd like to, but we will start seated. So as always, any comfortable seated position, just so we can really start to get nice and settled. We're going to be really working with different movements of the spine today. So even from here sat up, really kind of making sure the spine is comfortable. So if it's easier to kind of sit up on a block, if that allows us to find that length, then maybe sitting up on a cushion or something like that. And then when you're ready, maybe starting to close the eyes so we can really tune in with the body, check in with where we are today. Maybe trying to cultivate a sensation of the pelvis and legs being nice and heavy, and then the center and the spine and the shoulders being nice and light and buoyant. Almost as we ground down with the legs, we're lifting through the spine, finding a little bit of energy, a little bit of lightness as we come to center here. Noticing where the breath is, noticing how we're naturally breathing. Acknowledging any noises going on around us, anything happening in our surroundings. Reassuring ourselves that all those noises are supposed to be there. And we're supposed to be here, so we'll use those noises to relax us and help us find our center, help us be really nice and present. Just bringing that attention to the breath, maybe starting to take a slightly longer inhale in. Exhaling out through the nose or through the mouth, whichever. As we exhale, really again encouraging that grounding through the legs and that lift through the spine. Nice long inhale in. Exhale, releasing and letting go. So we'll keep that breath going a couple more times. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice, this might be a nice time to do so. But as always, making a promise to ourselves to move with love and kindness this evening and to pay attention to the body, not to push through or force anything that doesn't feel right for us today. And that could be different to how we felt yesterday. It could change throughout the practice, so staying nice and present, nice and mindful. So breathing that intention in, breathing lots of love for ourselves in. Exhale, breathing it all out. One more time, all together, breathing together, inhaling in. Exhale, letting it all go. Maybe starting to open the eyelids, letting some light back in. Lovely. So we're going to stay seated whilst we warm up a little bit today. But for these first few movements, we're actually, if it's comfortable to do so, going to bring the legs out a little bit wider. So we're going to plant the feet on the floor. We can take them out in front, knees facing up towards the sky. And we're just going to start by holding on to either the shins or under the thighs. And we're going to start to find a bit of movement in the spine. So we're going to come into our cat-cow kind of shape, but just from the seated position. So we're going to inhale, bring the chest forward nice and proud, sitting up nice and tall. As we exhale, start to push through the shoulders, arch through the spine. And then as you inhale, allow that to pull back through again, really pushing down through the feet. So grounding down with the legs so we can kind of isolate, finding that movement in our spine, in our center. Lovely. And you might find it's quite a subtle movement. Maybe we don't make quite as much space as we do kind of when we're in our all fours position, a more traditional cat-cow. But just seeing how it feels to do it from this grounded position with the legs. Feeling into the shoulders, the spine, maybe the pelvis. Maybe we actually feel the legs start to switch on as they kind of hold us upright. Lovely. Maybe we bring the chin into it slightly, so tucking the chin into the chest as we arch through our cat shape, lifting it up towards the sky. Maybe imagining we've got the sun shining on us, even if we're indoors, feeling that light, that warmth on the face as we push our chests through. Lovely, and then coming to find a little bit of a neutral spine. So coming back up to center. So from here, we're going to release the hands this time, clasp the fingertips. So we're going to bring our hands together and start to take a bit of a stirring motion. So this can be a nice big shape, kind of using the hands, the arms to really get into the side body here. So we're still moving from our center, we're still grounding down through our feet, but taking nice big circles, stirring whatever it is you like to be stirring, whether you like to imagine this is like a coffee pot. Some people stir the porridge. I like to go with the cauldron version, especially if you kind of set an intention for your practice. It could be nice to imagine you're stirring that in here. Going back the other way if we haven't already. Really finding that kind of length in the side body, the armpits, the arms. Enjoying that nice circular motion, maybe getting a little bit of a massage on the sitting bones. Keeping the breath going, nice long breaths. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to center. We're going to come to release the arms, and we are going to bring the feet back in. So we're going to play around with a little bit of a half lotus position. So quite a traditional position to meditate in, but we're just going to do one leg at a time because anatomically it can be quite challenging. So we're going to bring our left foot into the right thigh. And then if we're able to, we're going to try and place the right foot on top of the left leg. So we're kind of placing that foot to get this lotus shape. If that's not comfortable, then we can just do this in kind of a more seated position, however's comfortable for you. Or if we're comfy here, we're going to find that lotus position, so knees are grounding down towards the mat. But again, we're going to find that nice lightness in the spine as we sit up nice and tall. We can keep our eyes closed for this if that feels nice. And then with an inhale, we're going to stretch the fingertips nice and wide, taking them all the way out and up and overhead, finding a little bit of a reach as we ground down in our seat. And then we're going to exhale, we're going to twist from the rib cage, start to turn towards the right, bringing the left fingertips down to the left knee. Right fingertips either come to the ground behind us with kind of spider fingers, or you might want to see if you can reach towards your left thigh. And whether or not you touch it or not, that's all good, but maybe you can kind of wrap your arm around your waist a little bit, or even, I mean, I can just about take my fingers to kind of my shorts, but we're just kind of getting that opening through the right shoulder, so working on that bind, looking to find a little bit of space, so that hopefully with a bit of practice, it might allow us to find a bigger range of movement. So taking the gaze over the back shoulder, keeping that breath going, feeling the belly rise and fall. Can feel a bit funny or maybe even a bit uncomfortable, but sending the breath to any parts of the body with any tension. Super. When you're ready, we'll come to release the bind, so releasing those back fingertips, and then we'll bring ourselves back to center. Lovely. We're going to swap the feet over, so taking the right foot off. If you need to kind of bang out the feet or anything like that, that can be nice. And then we're going to switch the feet around. I shouldn't have done the banging because that confused me for a moment, but we're bringing the right foot in this time, and then taking the left foot on top of the right thigh, almost kind of up to your hip crease. So we can really ground down through both legs in our half lotus position. So again, getting nice and settled here, grounding down to the earth. With an inhale, taking the arm nice and wide, all the way up and overhead, spreading through the fingertips. As we exhale, this time we'll turn over towards the left, bringing those fingertips down to place them in a comfortable position. So again, left fingertips can either reach behind us, taking the gaze over that shoulder, or maybe you want to play around with the bind on this side, maybe seeing whether we can wrap that hand around the waist or reach towards that right thigh. I don't seem to get as far on this side, so we might have a similar thing. So we're just noticing, learning about our bodies, noticing if it feels any different on this side. Doing our best not to kind of cling on and yank ourselves round, but just allow that twist to come from the spine. Lovely, guys, looking good. And then with an exhale, we'll bring that round back to center, releasing through the arms. Lovely. So our left foot, we are going to take it off our thigh, send it out nice and long, tucking that foot back in, and we're just going to take some nice side stretches. So bringing the fingertips down inside the leg, reaching out with the right fingers, coming up and over to find a little bit of a stretch through the side body. So keeping those toes on the floor nice and active, toes point up towards the sky. Maybe we take the gaze to the elbow as the elbow kind of reaches back, almost as if it's pulling us back, just to keep that chest nice and open. Lots of energy in the fingertips. Super. As we exhale, we'll cartwheel those arms round. So right hand comes to reach the earth, left fingers almost shoot out to the side, kind of countering that movement. Kind of with that reach of the fingers, finding that stretch in the other side. Maybe feeling it kind of in the rib cage as the muscles of the ribs kind of pull apart and find space. Lovely. Then releasing that arm down, coming back to center. We'll take that stretch just on our final side. So swapping that over. Left foot comes into right thigh, right foot comes out, toes pointing towards the sky. And we'll find that side stretch on the other side. So walking the hand down as far as comfortable. Again, taking that gaze to that top elbow, allowing that elbow to kind of open you up through the chest. Maybe feeling a stretch in your thigh. I'm kind of feeling this a little bit more in my tricep today. So noticing where you have sensation. Full breath cycle here. Lovely. We'll come to take this on the other side, so dropping that top palm down in front of us, maybe using our hands to walk us over to the other side. Countering that movement here, nice soft bend of that bottom elbow just to support. Lovely, guys. Super nice final stretch through those fingertips, big reach as if we're trying to wake ourselves up. And as we exhale, we'll come back to center. And we're going to make our way towards tabletop. So if you want to do anything on your way there, if you need to kind of drop the knees, bang out the feet, take a little rock and roll to create some energy, then absolutely do that on our way to our tabletop. Again, checking in here if we want to grab any padding for the wrists or the knees. And then finding a nice, strong foundation. So really spreading the fingertips, wrapping the arms around, pushing down through our fingertips, you're almost clawing into the mat. And then with your breath cycle, as you inhale, we'll start to drop the belly, raise the tailbone, raise the chest. Find our cow. Exhale, reversing that movement, coming into your cat, pushing away from the mat, really clawing the earth with your hands. We'll keep moving through those two shapes. Maybe I like to give the glutes a little bit of a squeeze as we move through into that cow shape. That's just me. And as always, we can keep it, quite traditional. We can find this space in the spine with our cat cows. But if you do want to add anything on, any hip dips, any circles, anything like that, listen to what your body needs, listen to what your spine needs. But keep moving nice and intentionally. Lovely. We're all going to come to neutral, so nice flat back. With an inhale, we're going to start to lift the right heel as we lift the left hand out in front of us, find our balance in cat. If this is a little bit much, then leave the left hand on the earth, spreading through the fingertips, just to help with that balance, maybe build a bit more confidence. So reaching through both limbs, feeling that nice strong line from the tips of your fingers to the back of your heel. Connecting to your belly button, your center here. So we want to have a nice strong core to support the back body. Keeping the breath going. With your next exhale, we'll come to place the hands back down, bring the knee in. And we're going to take that onto the other side. So inhaling, reaching out through the right fingers, sending the left heel all the way back. Lovely. Thinking kind of pushing that foot against a wall so it's nice and active. Trying our best not to collapse into one part of the body. Really try and find that center in your belly button. If we are falling over a little bit, it's all good. Just keep pushing out of your mat. Lovely. With an exhale, we'll come to bring the hand down, bring the knee in. And we're going to come down to our mat. So you might want to walk your hands out just kind of a hand's distance in front, if that makes sense. Then come to tilt the pelvis forward so we're on our knees, keeping the elbows tucked into the body, nice and controlled. We'll bring ourselves down, kind of through our chaturanga. Lovely. Resting the forehead on the earth, keeping our hands at our side, grounding the feet into the mat. And with your next exhale, we're going to push up into our baby cobra. So just starting to lift the chest off the ground. So chest and head is raised. We haven't kind of pushed ourselves the whole way up yet. We're keeping ourselves nice and low. A good test of this one is you should be able to lift your hands off the mat and still have that same kind of distance from the earth. So the hands are kind of there supporting us, keeping the shape, but they're not holding us up. So keeping the breath going, feeling our center nice and hard against the ground. Grounding down through the pelvis. Nice deep breaths here. We'll exhale, drop the chin, drop the forehead to the earth. Lovely, guys. Super, taking a full breath cycle here. With your next exhale, we'll start to push into those hands again, keeping the elbows in, coming back up either to your baby cobra or to your full cobra. If that feels nice on your back, if we want a slightly deeper back stretch, lovely. Opening our heart space, our chest up to the sky, taking the gaze just in front of us. Lovely. Holding here. Keeping the breath going. Grounding down through the legs. Super. When you're ready with your next breath, we're aiming to come up towards standing. So you can either tuck the toes, come back to your downward dog, or you might want to come into a tabletop and come up that way. So exhaling, tucking the toes under, finding your tabletop or your downward dog. Lovely. I think we've all gone for our downward dogs today. So we'll take a nice slow walk to the top of our mat, really taking our time with it. We've not done quite as much stretching through the legs. So taking our time to really feel into the legs. Coming to our Uttanasana. I always like to kind of lift the heels off one by one, just to really ground through the feet. And then when you're ready, nice and slowly, we'll push into the feet, starting to wake up the muscles in the legs, rolling our way up to our Tadasana, our mountain pose. Lovely. Rolling the shoulders down the spine, opening the palms out in front of you, inviting lots of lovely energy in. Standing up nice and proud, nice and tall. Lovely, guys. So we want this to be really strong. So, Tadasana, a mountain, it's not a passive movement. We want to stand tall and proud and really lengthen through the spine, but feel that sense of being grounded in the earth. Oh, lovely. Super. Connecting to ourselves here, checking in here, noticing what it feels like to arrive in our bodies. So from here, we are going to work through some sun salutations, so Surya Namaskar B. So we're going to move through this a few times. Some of them are stronger movements, so we'll do our best as we work through, but we don't have to kind of go full pelt straight away. We can really be kind to the body, ease ourselves in it, but as best as we can, just moving with the breath. So whether that's with my breath cues or just moving with your own breath, that's all good. So we'll start here in our Tadasana. Lovely. Taking a lovely deep inhale in. As we exhale, we're going to drop the hips back, send the arms up, find your chair pose, Utkatasana. Feel those legs start to waken up. Lovely. Exhale, forward fold, find your Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Straighten through the back, lovely. Exhale, find your plank. Step or jump back to your plank. Lovely, nice high plank to start. As we exhale, we'll come to find up dog, so maybe through chaturanga, or maybe lowering the hips, sending the chest up towards the sky. Lovely. Exhale, tuck the toes under, send the hips back, find your downward dog. Maybe taking a moment to pedal through. When you're ready, we'll inhale, lift the right heel up to your sky, three-legged dog. And then we're going to bend through the knees, come to step that foot through the front hands. Drop the back heel, come up to your warrior one, reaching through the fingers, pushing through that back foot, lovely. Exhale, wiggle the fingertips back down. Step back to your plank. And again, chaturanga, or lower the hips, come into your up dog. Super. Tuck the toes under, send the hips back as we exhale, downward dog. Take a full breath cycle here. Lovely. Then we're going to take that warrior one on the other side. So inhaling, taking that right heel up towards the sky. Exhale, come to bring that foot through your hand. Dropping the back heel, reach our way up to warrior one. Push through that back heel. Lovely, guys. You're doing great. Super. Exhale, we'll bring the fingertips back down. Step back to your plank. Final chaturanga. In this round, we're going to come down, open up into our upward dog. Exhale, send the hips all the way back down, dog. Lovely. Super. And then you can walk or jump up to your hands to find your Uttanasana, or float if we're able to float. And then as we inhale, we'll take the arms all the way up and overhead, maybe finding a gentle back bend before we bring the palms down to our mountain pose. Lovely, guys. That was one round. We're going to try and do that 2 more times. I'm going to start with you, but then I'm going to come and watch. So I'll just tell you where we're headed, but just go with what feels good. Move with your breath. So as we inhale, we're going to send the arms out in front, drop the hips back, find your chair pose, really sink into the legs. Lovely. As we exhale, find Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, you're going to step or jump back to your plank. Lovely, guys. Dropping the hips, pushing through those heels. And then inhale, drop, come to your up dog. Lovely, Kirsten, really nice. As you exhale, send the hips back nice and tall, elevating them to the sky. Find your downward dog, lovely. Inhale, raise your left heel, find three-legged dog. Exhale, step that foot forward, reach up to the sky, step into your warrior one. Lovely. Exhale, bring the fingertips back down, step back to your plank. Lovely. Coming through chaturanga, drop the hips down to your upward facing dog or cobra. Great, guys. Exhaling, sending the hips back, find your downward dog. Take a full breath cycle here. Give you a chance to catch your breath. Then as with your next breath, we'll take the right heel up to the sky this time, three-legged dog, keeping the pelvis stacked. With your breath, bring that foot through, step it between your hands, reach up to your nice strong warrior one. Lovely. Exhale, wiggle the fingertips back down. Stepping back to your plank. Tell yourself you're strong, you've got this, lovely. With your next breath, melting into upward dog, so bringing the hips down, pushing against your mat, lovely, guys. With your exhale, send it back to downward dog. Super. And then you can walk, step, or jump to your Uttanasana. Lovely. And then nice big movement, coming back up, pushing through your feet, maybe finding a back bend before we bring the hands to the chest. Lovely. Take one full breath cycle here, and then we're going to catch a wave and come straight back into it. So we'll inhale, start to drop the hips back, send the arms forward, find your Utkatasana chair pose. Lovely, sinking into those hips. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Lovely, inhale, find your halfway lift. Nice, Alex. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step or jump back to your plank. Nice, Kirian. Super. Dropping the hips, find your up dog, either through chaturanga or lowering down, nice and controlled. Lovely, guys. Exhale, sending the hips back to downward dog, nice and strong. Super. Inhale, lift through that left heel, find your three-legged dog. Exhale, stepping it through. Super. Inhale, reach those fingertips up towards the sky, nice and strong. With your next breath, bringing the fingertips back down, stepping back to your plank. Lovely, lowering through chaturanga or nice and controlled as we come into our cobra or up dog. Super. Curling the toes under, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. We know this shape, get nice and comfortable in it. Before we start to lift through the right heel, sending it back, three-legged dog. Lovely, exhale, stepping that foot through. Lots of energy as we come forward, reaching the arms up, connecting to your center. Lovely, exhale, wiggling the fingers down, coming back to plank. Super. And then nice and controlled, finding our up dog or our cobra. Super. Then when you're ready, we're going to come back to our final downward dog of this sun salutation. So tucking the toes under, sending the hips back, finding some stillness here just for a moment. So dropping through the heels if we need to, pedaling out just till we get a place where we can find a bit of stillness in the body, hopefully a bit of stillness in the mind. Can be helpful to kind of fix your gaze on a spot, whether it's on your toes behind you or the space between your feet. Maybe even just the mat below you, just to kind of help still the mind. Super. Listening to your breath, checking in with the breath. So we do these kind of work through sun salutations. The idea is that the movement and the routine kind of prepares the body for meditation, prepares the body for stillness. So feeling that here. Staying here for another couple breaths, or maybe dropping through the knees, taking the toes together, finding our child's pose. Allowing the body to rest so we can move through our next set of movements. Lovely, guys. And if we're not there already, we're all going to come to child's pose. Just for a moment, just to really release through the shoulders, through the spine. Melting the heart towards the earth, surrendering here, noticing what came up for you. And then when you're ready, we'll push through the hands, start to walk the hands back towards our legs. Lovely. So we're coming to this kind of wide kneeling position, which is quite intentional. From here, we're going to bring our hands forward just so we can tuck the toes under, bringing the feet together, and then we're going to come to walk back into this little bit of a toe stand. Lovely. So this can be quite nice just to kind of check in with the toes. So we can stay here either with our hands on the earth or maybe finding a little bit of a balance with our Anjali Mudra. Or if we'd like to, sneaky little strong pose in the middle here, you can play around with your crow pose. So maybe from here in this toe balance, we're going to bring the hands to the earth, spread the fingertips nice and wide, and then start to bring those knees up towards your arms, making a little shelf, seeing if we can find a little bit of lift off. And if we can't, that's all good. Even just practicing that movement of bringing the knees in and leaning against our hands, you're going to feel your center switch on. You're going to feel your arms and shoulders switch on. So that's great too. So, it's not always about finding the balance or the lift. Practicing that a couple times. I always love that moment when you kind of roll back and catch yourself. So maybe enjoying that as well as we kind of come out of the movement. Again, I find a drishti can be really helpful here, just to focus that movement and find that balance. So you want to take it just a little bit ahead of you. If you go right underneath, you might fall on your face. My 72-year-old uncle was practicing this the other day and he fell straight on his head, so that wasn't brilliant. So we all want to be super careful. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we'll come to drop the bum behind us, nice and controlled. Just so we can come off the arms completely. Maybe giving the legs a little bit of a hug into the chest, finding your little love cave here. Taking a couple breaths. Maybe dropping the forehead to get a little stretch in the neck. Or if we want a little bit more space, then maybe we take the knees back to that position we started in. Pulling the belly through, taking a couple breaths here. I mean, you guys have done a lot more work than me, and I'm feeling quite breathless. So catching our breath here. Noticing how we're feeling. Are we feeling energized? Are we feeling alive? Are we feeling strong? And if we're not, that's all good. And then when you're ready in your own time, we're going to come back to standing. So we're coming back to our mountain pose now. So whether you want to kind of cross the ankles over and come through kind of a tabletop and an uttanasana or a downward dog or anything like that, you absolutely can. Or if you'd like to just come up to standing, grab a drink on your way, that's all good as well. Just moving intentionally, moving with kindness. We're going to come to find our mountain pose again. Excuse me, I'll pull my shorts down. So finding our Tadasana. So just as we did before, remembering this isn't a passive movement, it's nice and strong, nice and grounded. So feeling that here as we push our toes into the mat. Similar to with our hands in tabletop, we're really pushing the toes in so our feet are almost clawing the earth, bringing up lots of nice energy to help us lengthen the spine and stand nice and tall. So this is mountain pose. So we often think of mountains as being quite static, but we're going to find a little bit of movement in our mountain. So from here, we're going to inhale, take the arms up and overhead, nice big stretch. As we exhale, start to turn to your left, send your arms nice and long, find a little bit of a twist with your breath. Using that exhale to really push the arms away, keeping the feet nice and grounded. Lovely. Inhale, we'll bring those arms back to center. Exhale, taking that twist to the other side, reaching through the arms, keeping the pelvis facing forward, finding that twist in the middle of the spine. Lovely. Inhale back to center. We'll take that one more time. So exhaling, twisting to the other side, reaching through the arms. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, opening to the other side. Noticing where you feel it in the body. You feeling it in the shoulders, in the ribs, in the back. Grounding through the feet. Lovely. Coming back to center. Just going to adjust my camera slightly so I feel like I've managed to chop my head off a little bit. Super. So back to our neutral, back to our mountain. So this time we're going to inhale, we're going to take the arms up again, but this time we're going to open out the fingertips. So opening through the chest with our inhale, taking the arms back behind us, a nice proud chest, nice squeeze of the shoulder blades. As we exhale, we're going to bring the hands together, arching through the shoulders, finding that opposite shape. Sinking into it, maybe even bending the knees if that helps a little bit. Inhale, take the arms nice and wide, opening, inviting lots of love in. Exhale, pushing back into the shoulder blades, taking the arms in front, sinking a little bit into the hips if that feels nice. We'll do one more full cycle of that. So inhaling, opening the arms behind us. Opening through our heart center. Exhale, we'll push our hands towards each other. So lots of nice energy as they come to reach in front of us, pushing away. It's almost as if we're coming to kind of catch a beach ball or something. Maybe taking the gaze kind of towards your knees, towards your toes. Lovely. And then we're going to release those arms, come back to center. Super. And then final little movement here, so we can give the arms a quick shake if that feels nice. Rolling through the hips. And then taking a moment to stand strong in our mountain again, nice and grounded. And fingers spread nice and wide. We're going to take them to our shoulders. And then start to just take some nice circles from the waist up. So with our hands on our shoulders, maybe we just start to open in front of us, coming back if that's comfortable, almost kind of making a big circle on our axis that is our pelvis, is our spine. So nice and gently, again, we're not forcing anything here, just reaching your limit, finding your range of motion. Really feeling strong in the pelvis. The pelvis comes forward as we lean back, engaging with the belly button. And we're going to take it back the other way if we haven't already, so we can get into both sides. Whew, I got a nice little click on that one. So nothing super complicated, just feeling into it, feeling nice and strong but fluid, feeling nice and light. Lovely, and then we'll release those hands, super. Coming back to our mountain. Great, so we're going to take a few more standing movements before we come to kind of cool down. So before we do that, if you want to grab a drink or anything, just as we'll be moving through a little bit of a sequence, and whilst you are always more than welcome to come out and grab a drink, it might be a nice time to have a quick sip of water now. I have definitely warmed up somewhat since we started. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to find our warrior one. So starting at the top of your mat, feet nice and hip distance apart, so that we know we're going to step back on kind of a train track and not be on a nice tightrope. Inhaling in, as we exhale, we'll lift through our right knee, lift the right foot up, away from the ground. And then as we exhale, we'll come to step that back behind us, finding a nice comfortable stance for you, dropping that back heel. Lovely. I'm going to come to face the other way so I can keep looking at you. Super. So we're going to ease our way into that warrior one. So we really want to start bending into that front knee. You might need to maneuver the back foot slightly, just so you can find what feels right, what feels good for you. Making sure that knee is a nice comfortable position over the ankle. Sending the pelvis forward, sending your chest forward, so heart space is shining forward. With an inhale, we'll start to lift through the fingertips, so pushing through that back heel, lifting out of the spine, out of the pelvis, so finding a bit of lightness, a bit of buoyancy in the arms. Feeling a bit of lift as we reach towards the sky. Again, that image of nice big beach ball overhead. So we've been here before, but we moved through it quite quickly. So now seeing what it feels like to really sink into the pose. So pausing here, noticing what sensations come up. Seeing what can we learn about our body whilst we're here, what can we learn about the mind. So come check on you all, lovely guys. Really nice, looking good. Seeing if we can sink into that knee with our exhale, just a little deeper. Super. Listening to your breath. Maybe it's a good time to bring in that Ujjayi breath whilst we're holding these a bit longer. With your next exhale, we'll start to open out into your warrior two. So pelvis comes to open away from that front knee, pushing out through those arms, nice fierce arms as you find your warrior two. Being careful not to let that knee fall in. We still want to keep it nice and stacked and parallel. Lovely, reaching through the fingers, finding that sweet spot between steadiness and ease. So we're nice and strong and engaged, but seeing where we can soften. Pausing here, focusing on your drishti, focusing on your breath, stilling the mind. With your next inhale, we'll come to drop the fingertips behind us, reach through those top fingers, find your peaceful warrior. If you'd like to, we can straighten through that front leg as well if we want a little bit of break on that leg. Reaching through the fingertips, maybe finding a slight back bend towards that back leg, but really pushing through the feet so we're nice and strong. Holding it here. Noticing that shifts, that change in energy as we move from movement to movement. What feels different here? Nice and smooth and controlled. With your next exhale, we'll bend through the knee again if we straightened it. Bring that elbow down to rest on that thigh. Reach up through the opposite fingers. Find your Parsvakonasana. Messed up pronouncing that one. Reaching through those top fingertips so nice and bright. Or option, if we want to work on that bind from earlier, again, we can take that arm behind us, see if we can start to reach towards that thigh. Maybe one day we'll be able to reach the thigh, great. Maybe we'll always be just kind of hanging on to the back of our leggings or our shorts, and that's okay too. But we'll keep opening through that top shoulder, nice opening in the chest, pushing through the feet so we're not collapsing in. Finding some stillness and steadiness here. Lovely. With the next exhale, we'll come back upright, so towards our kind of warrior two shape. But then we're going to use the breath, find your warrior one. So back where we started. So pelvis facing forward, arms are facing forward again. Lovely. And we're going to find a little bit of a twist if we can. This time as we exhale, we're going to come towards that left knee. Take those left fingertips back. See if you can reach towards your right leg. And it doesn't matter kind of where that hand goes. It may end up kind of on your lower back. But reaching through those top fingertips is kind of a peaceful warrior, a little bit of a twist and an opening. Should come check on you all. Lovely. Nice. Again, we're creating space kind of in our center and the spine. Bit of a funny movement, but creating a bit of space, seeing what the shape tells us. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to that warrior one, coming back to face the front of the mat. With your next breath, we're going to jump that back foot in to meet the front. Lovely. Give the legs a good shake off. Super, guys. You're all looking really strong. Great. We're going to come to take that on the other side now. Super. So coming back to our Tadasana, finding that nice grounded position where we're pushing through the feet, clawing into the mat, drawing up energy through the legs, through the inner thighs. And this time we're going to step back with the left leg. So as we inhale, finding a little balance for a moment, lifting that left knee up. As we exhale, we'll take that foot behind us, find our nice comfortable warrior one stance. Lovely. Apologies, I may have told you the wrong side, but hopefully you'll do the opposite side to what we just did. So easing our way into that front knee, finding that nice bend in the knee, some nice strong legs, building it from the ground up before we start to reach through the fingertips. So you root to rise, reaching up in your warrior one on this opposite side. So we're going to hold it here for a few breaths. Really kind of feeling the movement imprint on your body. Just to come check on you all. Staying in this pose, allowing your body to kind of respond and adjust and adapt. You kind of feel the muscles start to energize and adjust and hold you in place. So feeling that here. With your next exhale, we'll come to open that out into your warrior two. So opening through the pelvis, pushing the arms away. Nice warrior arms here. Lovely. Pushing through the back foot, making sure the back arm's nice and lifted. Taking your gaze over those front fingertips. Maybe as you exhale, sinking a little bit deeper. Finding stillness here. We've done a lot of kind of moving with the breath in this practice. So now we're gonna find a bit of stillness. We're gonna hold some of these shapes. With your next exhale, we'll come to find our peaceful warrior. So pushing off that front foot, reaching the top arms up, taking the back fingertips to your back leg, reaching up to the sky here as we push down with the legs. And then as we exhale, we'll come to bend through that front knee, bringing the elbow down nice and gently. And then option is always to either shoot the fingertips up, lifting us away from the legs, or playing with that bind. So taking the fingertips behind us, reaching towards that thigh. So again, just to highlight, my hand really is nowhere near the thigh. I'm just energetically reaching towards it, but my fingertips are just about on my hip crease. But getting that opening in the shoulder, that slight back bend. One more full breath cycle here. And then when you're ready, we'll start to push through those legs, coming back upright. And then we're going to turn ourselves back towards that warrior one, so stepping in with that back foot. Nice big beach ball overhead as the arms reach up. Then with your exhale, we'll find that twist on the other side. So right shoulder starts to open towards that back leg, fingertips come down, finding your balance as we shoot up with the left hand. I'm going to come watch you all because I can't see you when I do that. Lovely. Holding it here again, seeing if there is any way you can invite in a little bit more softness and lightness, even if it's just your baby finger. Lovely, Alex. Nice bind. Lovely. And when you're ready, we're going to come back to our warrior ones, coming back to center. We'll wiggle the fingertips back down to wrap around that front foot. And then we're going to step that foot back, bring the knees down, come to your child's pose. So sinking the hips back. Maybe you want to take the knees a little bit wider. Maybe we're keeping them together and kind of painting our mat as we bring the arms behind us, whichever option feels better for you today. Resting and surrendering here. Lovely. Finding a little bit of stillness, but from this slightly more restful position. Super. Letting go into your mat. If the arms are out in front of you, seeing if you can soften and release through the triceps and biceps. Whew. Nice deep breaths here. When you're ready, we're going to bring the arms up in front of us if they aren't already. So coming towards kind of a tabletop. And then we're going to take the knees nice and wide. So we're getting ready for our kind of thread the needle pose. So if our knees aren't wide, we almost want to take them the width of the mat. And then I'm going to bring my right hand in towards the center of my mat and start to reach through the left arm. So as if I'm drawing on a bow and arrow, I'm going to send those left fingertips up towards the sky, reaching away from the earth. With an exhale, I'll come to thread the needle. So bringing that arm, bringing that shoulder down towards the earth. So resting the ear or the side of the forehead here. And then with that top arm, you can either walk it out in front of you, so maybe walking the fingertips out. Or again, if you're enjoying that work with the binds that we've been doing today, you can come to rest those fingertips behind you, reaching towards the left thigh, but just resting and placing them wherever they can land softly and gently. Lovely. As we exhale, feeling held and supported by the earth. Recognizing and noticing that Mother Earth is below your mat. With your next breath, we'll take that top hand, use it to just push us back up nice and slowly, finding our tabletop position. Lovely. And this time we'll come to take it on the other side. So we'll bring the left fingertips into the center of our mat this time, just to support our center of gravity. And then reaching up with those right fingers and finding an opening in the shoulders and the chest. As you exhale, coming to thread the needle on this side, dropping the ear, dropping the forehead down to the earth. And then again, making a choice with this top hand. Do we kind of walk it out ahead of us? Kind of finding spider fingers and a bit of space. Or do we want to practice that bind on this side, taking those fingertips back, opening through the elbow. Lovely, Kirsten, really nice. Holding it here. Feeling that little stretch in the bottom shoulder. Oh, nice big belly breaths. We've starting to slow things down a little bit. When you're ready, we'll come to release that top hand. And again, pushing it into the mat just to support ourselves up. Great. And then we're going to come to cross the ankles, use our hands to guide ourselves, walk ourselves back into seated. And we're going to take a final kind of forward fold just to soften through the spine as it's been working quite hard for us. So if there's anything that you want just to help your forward folds, whether that's a bolster or a blanket, maybe something you pop under the knees, just so it's a slightly less dramatic stretch of your hamstrings, you're welcome to grab that, or we can just, go gentle on the knees. So coming to really rest the sitting bones on the earth, the bottom of our spine. Nice inhale, taking the arms up and overhead, finding length for the spine, so seeing if we can find a little bit more space between the vertebrae as we reach up. And then as we exhale, we'll start to fold over, keeping the spine nice and long, nice and straight, until we need to drop the hands, drop the neck, drop the chin, come to rest in your forward fold. And whether we're flat as a pancake or you've got a big bolster like me, we want to be releasing through the belly, softening through your shoulders, through your neck, your chin. Same with the exhale, if you can fold that a little bit deeper. Allowing the fold to calm you and relax you. Noticing that kind of stretch in the back body as we soften through the front body. Lovely, guys. We're going to stay here for about another 30 seconds. If there's any adjustments or anything, just to make it super comfortable. Maybe we need to bring the knees up a little bit. Then I invite you to do that now. And then when you're ready, we'll use our fingers, using the fingertips to walk ourselves back up nice and slowly, allowing everything to kind of recalibrate and settle. And then we're going to come down towards Shavasana. So again, if you want to grab anything, kind of keep hold of a bolster, pop some layers on and cushion. I love keeping the bolster kind of under my knees in Shavasana. It just allows my legs to feel a bit more relaxed. And then when you're ready, we'll start to come down towards the mat, taking any final movements here if you need to. If you want to hug the knees into the chest or dip the knees side to side, you're more than welcome to. Almost drawing the shoulders down towards your mat so you can feel nice and supported. So if you're taking off your backpack for the day, your life backpack, your yoga backpack, we're releasing it down. Lovely. Lying on the floor, really spreading the body. Maybe imagining that you're lying on something lovely and soft. And if we like our kind of nature visuals, maybe we're imagining a carpet of moss or lovely petals or grass, a meadow. Or maybe we're more indoor people and we're going to imagine a nice carpet or a nice mattress. But feeling held in Mother Earth's arms with the gentle support of the earth beneath your head, beneath your spine, beneath your legs. Noticing the ground holding your weight. Maybe relinquishing the weight of your world into the ground, so letting anything that you're holding on to go. As we notice and acknowledge and integrate the effects of our practice this evening. Noticing how the movement felt in our body. Noticing how the stillness felt in our body. Surrendering yourself to the gravity here. Feeling the harmony and connection of your precious body to the floor. Knowing that each point of contact in your body is a chance and an opportunity to feel more supported by the earth. And as you breathe, feeling that earth move more deeply into your being. If you're able to gift yourself a little bit more time, then I encourage you to stay here, letting the practice integrate and feeling relaxed and at home in your body. But if you do want to finish altogether, to move out and into your evening, then bringing a little bit of movement back to the body now. Bringing your attention back to your surroundings. Noticing any noises around you, any smells, maybe even slowly opening the eyes and noticing a few different things in your room, allowing your eyes to kind of travel around. And when you're ready, we'll come back to our seated position. So just as we've been doing, we'll practice finding that kind of contrast of integrity and strength and length in the spine with lightness and softness. Bringing the hands to your chest, maybe closing your eyes for a moment as you take one more breath into your body. Recognizing with each day and each practice, we get to wake up or come back and take another breath. So we get to start again, we get to mess up again. Noticing that life is in both of these things, both of these moments. So when you're ready, we will go out into the world, into our evenings with grateful hearts and open minds to begin again. So thank you for showing up today. Thank you for bringing your energy and your willingness to keep going and try everything that you've been invited to do. Thank you for practicing with each other. So have a very lovely evening. I will see you all very soon. Thank you very much, everybody. You all looked so strong and fantastic. It was great. I enjoyed having you all, so I hope you're all feeling good.